Knowledge transfer,
Experience transfer.
experience transfer. Okay, so constant experience transfer.
That's more on the emotional.
More of the emotional pattern. Perfect, perfect, wonderful. Any other thoughts?
More specific. Once I need more specific.
Okay.
Not broad.
More specific, specific to
Specific to a specific problem.
specific problem. Counseling, like we said, is more of emotional patterns and it's more therapeutic in nature. And if you look at the difference between these three and this is more a backward in nature. They look into the past. Whereas these three look into the future. How can you perform tomorrow? That's the objective of the training program. When you go to the training program, they don't say what did you do in the last 3 months. Tell me all the trainings you have done. How did those trainings help you? Why did it not help you? No trainer does that post-mortem. Whereas a counselor will definitely look into your past to understand what's your origin of the problem. And then try to see how can I remedy that. That's what a counselor does. Mentor and a coach. How do you look at a mentor and who will you consider as a coach? Mentor guides you. Okay.
Who inspires?
Who inspires you. Okay.
It sets himself an example. You just follow it.
You follow the mentor. Okay. I'm going to ask you to take that definition along with all of these. Don't you follow the teacher? So, what differentiates between mentor?
Mentoring is associated with a higher level of wisdom. That means people would be, very experienced and they can see the future, they can see what path you should be taking based on this skill.
Okay.
It slightly elevates to a higher level.
Okay.
Now, this person has achieved something, therefore, he is in the position to be able to.
Okay.
Envisioning you.
Sorry?
Envisioning you.
Envisioning you. So fundamentally, mentoring is more of guiding this person from my level of experience. I have been to that path before. And I'm going to help you from there. Most of the organizations, they have mentors for people who are joining, people who have been there for 1 year, 2 years. Attach this guy to a guy who has been there for 10 years in the system. So the 10-year guy definitely knows how things work. How US customers work, how the European customers work. What's the difference between European customer and US customer? When you're making a presentation to a US customer vis-a-vis a European customer, what are those precautions that you need to have in mind? Those are things that the mentor can do. The trainer can't do, the teacher can't do, the counselor can't do, or the instructor can't do. That's where mentoring plays a part in organizations. Coming to our favorite topic. One question.
Coach is someone who helps you reach your desired goal, be it sports or be it a specific achievement.
Okay.
So he works with you, understands your pluses and minuses, and helps you, focus on your positives and overcome your negatives.
Okay. So that's the mentor to that?
Mentor gives you a path. It just envisioning you to reach. Coach takes you to the goal.
Okay. Isn't the mentor not accountable for the goal that is supposed to reach?
No, that's our goal.
Okay, so maybe there in his cabin and say,
It doesn't attach the goal. Doesn't attach the goal. Mentor doesn't attach the goal. He just envisions you and guides you and tells you, right, yes, like you said, that's how I come through. Just take care.
You try to out these are the what concepts you possibly have, right? Figure it out and carry on.
That's it.
I think
tell you how you cross these potholes.
He cannot tell you that.
He may not.
But that's the experience that he has got. For instance,
He only tells you that there are potholes.
okay, so
So
what
he
is
doesn't have time. He doesn't have time to travel along and tells you that how to jump over the potholes. The coach comes into play and tells you that okay, these are the kind of potholes you might have to cross while to reach your goal.
Hold on to this one. I'll come back to this.
Coach helps you to identify your true potential.
Great. Almost very close to the IC definition.
But true potential in a very specific area. So, for example, tennis players have personalized coach. I think coach is more like a personalized attention. Or you can get a coach specifically for time management.
Okay.
Like we have CEO coaches specifically for something. Or a coach for networking. So it can become specific, it can become personalized. And for you to grow and reach your potential.
I have a different point of view there. When I go into mentoring and coaching, I think it's fun. We'll come back.
Mentor gives vision, whereas coach gives this strategy.
Okay. Does the coach give the strategy and say, this is what you need to be doing? And it's hand-holding right up to the achievement of the goal.
From the level of involvement, the coach is much more involved.
Good.
Okay, whereas a mentor is
Can
more
be hands-on.
hands-on. He gives you a guideline. He says, okay, you want to go there, fine. This is possibly the way you need to rotate. But is he going to be with you 24/7? Is he going to? Maybe not.
Will you be there at the end point?
That's our expectation from a mentee.
But does he, as a mentor, is he required to be there at the end point?
If you look at it from a per se definition of mentor, no. Mentor is someone who's been there, and the mentee approaches and he says, okay, this is how I have traveled. Possibly
It works for you. It works good at you. It doesn't work good with you.
I think that's.
I'm loving this dialogue.
It's more a prescriptive. He is actually coming with
Mentor?
the mentor is actually more prescriptive. Means he'll say that okay, do this thing. He'll be starting out. But coach is someone like he already underwent all these things, so he'll be better. So
Mentor also is not for all the people.
okay, that's there, but he will only prescribe.
Okay, mentor will prescribe, coach will not prescribe. You are saying the coach also will go along with coaching right up to the point.
Coach drafts along with you and he has a
Good
personal
point.
stake in the board. Right?
Coach has a personal stake because he's
When
giving
I
you
say
the
take a football
It's
team,
big.
right? It's the coach is part of the team. Don't differentiate between a coach and a team. Right?
Okay.
As a unit, they achieve a goal. So when you're going to coach someone, right, you have more stake in the other person's success. Almost equally can say.
And coach is more likely to be paid. Whereas a mentor is.
Stakes are lesser for mentor. Sorry.
Highly paid.
I agree. I agree.
I think there's one more side to it. Mentor is for continual growth, whereas coach is for continuous growth.
Okay, good.
Coach might have.
You are waiting for that. Sorry, sir. You have waited for that?
No.
Okay.
Coach is like in any of these areas, he might have undergone and others he's trying to build the gap.
Okay. Good, good. Yeah.
Coach is an expectation to the individual.
Okay.
Makes him a perfect or expert.
He makes the coaching perfect. That's what you say.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. Very perfect coaches. Yeah. Coach is a guru. Mentor, no concern with this. Builds above all. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Mentor is more on job, whereas coach, like, it is time for a time being like is there and like he tries to take you to the success plan.
Okay.
Nature the success plan.
So there is this kind of interaction that you have with the coach,
Yes,
and
actually,
then the engagement is over.
kind of like whereas here it is on job and like it is continuous.
So there is a disconnect between what you're saying now and what I've heard here, where we hear that a mentor is somebody who sits in his cabinet and prescribes something and says, please do this because I do this.
No,
You are different from that.
can be inspected.
Instruction could be a mode by which they possibly can transfer what they have in mind. Mentor can do that. What level of that?
There will be different colors to the
Okay.
situation.
Okay. Thank you very much for this perspective that you shared. We'll try to get more clarity with the end of it. And there could be some situations or some perspectives that won't be able to put it now. And that's what the coach is all about from an education standpoint. So I'm just going into some definitions just to cement up what we have said so far. Art of imparting knowledge or concepts is teaching. And training is more of a process of bringing a person to the next standard of performance. It's more of a skill development. The guy has to perform, so he has to be trained. Instructing is knowledge transfer through a telling mode. Tell people what they're supposed to do. So broadly, this part is the difference between teaching, training, and instruction. So to impart knowledge, as you see here, the operating word. And here, get somebody prepared for a test of skill. Skill development is a focus in development training. Any training program that you go, there is a competency that you are looking for, and there is a skill that you are looking for. In today's learning development space, what is the development that you see in the learning development space? Knowledge, skill, and training on your application are getting separated now. I don't know how many of you have them in your organization. Earlier, you used to go into a training program and stay there and do everything. Practice, apply it, everything happens there. But now, in the interest of time and in the interest of volumes, people are differentiating this. The knowledge part, I'm going to give it to you through e-learning modules, or videos, or podcasts, or audios. Just listen to it. You don't have to sit in the organization. Sit in the classroom and then go through concepts. Suppose I'm talking about fishbone diagram. Why should I waste my time in the class telling you what fishbone diagrams are? That's a decision you need to make. So, if you are talking about a concept, you don't waste your time in the class teaching the concept unless it is a very, very complex concept. It's a very simple concept of time management tool. Let the people look at the tool earlier, come into the class, practice it. And then get out of the class, apply that work, and come back and tell. So, there is an on-job training module, there is a teaching module, a training module where the skill is applied in the class for you to get your hands dirty and understand, and then there is a knowledge module. So, all these things are getting separated if you look at today's learning space. So, that's what is happening here. I use all these components when it comes to the current L&D philosophy that's there in many organizations.
Yeah, just one point. Since you said instruction is more related to delivery.
No, just as an example. Telling more is what I want to know.
Since I have this background, I think instruction the way you are trained. It is more of theoretical and practical.
Yeah.
And if I have to correlate, then I think the teaching is more of theory, training is more of practical, and instruction is more of both.
Yeah. This will be the knowledge component, like I said now. This will be the skill component. And today's organizations, they have OJT. We call it as OJT, we call it as Action Learning Project, where they're supposed to apply the learning, come back and tell us, demonstrate the application. These three components are
That's something in the instruction, the way I see my past. In the classroom, module used to sit down facing this side. The instructor used to call the instructor, explaining theoretical. After we used to sit facing that side, and the same piece of equipment is dismantled, and we are hands-on. So to me, the meaning of instruction is combination of theoretical as well as practical. So teaching and
it is happening, but then this is changing because I don't want to spend my time learning the knowledge components in the classroom. I can do it outside. That's what's happening now. Especially when we have virtual plans now. Organizations are more and more getting spread out. Earlier organizations, they are in one place. Suppose you take TIU, and they have this IIIC training center, which is there in number 2. And any training that happens, all the people go to IIIC and do it there. And they are there for 1 week, sometimes in residential, sometimes in non-residential, but you have to be there for 3 days or 4 days or 1 week. Try out knowledge, application, everything you try out there. Now, people don't have the time to spend there. So, I tell you that these are the knowledge components, these are the videos, these are the audios. You try it. I may do it first thing in the morning, and you may do it in the evening, whenever it is. But before, let's say, 1st of February, I want all of you to have done these 4 modules. The knowledge part. 1st of February, all of you come to the classroom. Apply that. That's the change that you see. Parentship is happening in this space. But I'm not saying that these components aren't there, but they need to figure out because of the virtual nature of business. See, counseling, as I said, is more of looking back, emotional patterns, and also logging. A coach or a mentor cannot come into this. You have to have real professionals handling counseling. You and I can't do this unless we are trained to be therapeutic counselors. Now, mentoring, this is where between this and this, you're going to have a lot of time. Mentoring is a job where a person shares the experience. Absolutely fine. The question based on all the discussions that we've had is, between a coach and a mentor, do both of them have to have subject knowledge? A mentor has to be an SME, subject knowledge expert. Does a coach have to be an SME? Yes, it has to be an SME. So that's a long, thin line there between a mentor and a coach. Okay, now let's take coaching for example. Let's demystify that. What does a coach do? Let's take cricket. What does a coach do?
The person's abilities and whatever mistakes or whatever he do for study, then customize the teaching or the training according to that.
Okay.
You should understand the implement of the entire. Say for cricket, you should understand what player is placing knowledge.
So this guy should have been a cricketer.
Yes, sir.
What is
May
going
not
on?
may not be.
He was a cricketer. So can you go and teach bowling to somebody who has had never bowled in the nets or anything? Yes, can you?
The coaching is the kind of training people to familiar with, because he knows the knowledge he has.
Will you accept me as a coach if I have not done bowling at all? I only play games. I don't play any game at all. You are a sports person. You are playing for India. And I am coming to you, please take me as a coach.
See that initially we check the model, it's actually like whether he having a background knowledge or at least like.
I am a pure professional executive coach. Or you work there. I am a software programmer. I know Java.net. Okay. And you are a professional playing Ranji Trophy or you want to aspire to get into India. Will you take me as a coach? Why?
Because like you don't know anything, at least like you should know that so let's take the example of cricket. At least you should know that like what is the fitness exercise, how to do it, how to train the game.
Then are you a fitness coach or fitness coach?
It's a coach, that's just simple.
A fitness coach. Then you are a SME in fitness.
I think the coach has to have expert knowledge in that particular field. Let me give another example. Let's say boxing coach. Boxing coach sits outside the ring. He watches the opponent more than his own and try to identify his doing well. What the mistakes he is doing, which are what are the reports. Within the play, he gives those steps. Cut there, give an uppercut, give a punch, give a this or give a that. And that makes a lot of difference. So until unless he is an expert in that particular field, you will not be able to observe by him.
Okay, so where does he come from? He comes from his level of
You
experience.
should have knowledge.
Knowledge.
You should know the
He
strategy.
has the knowledge,
You
he
should
talks
have
about
the
strategy,
strategized
and he should have been in some position where
Yes,
in
he
the
doesn't have practical experience like a swimming coach. He doesn't know how to swim himself. He will drown the other person also.
So he talks from a level of experience.
Yes.
And he talks from a level of subject knowledge expertise in this one.
And you should also have the experience.
He also has the experience. Are we talking about a mentor?
You need not be crossed at least you must be knowledge.
Are we talking about the definition of a mentor there?
True, Australian.
Yeah. That's the fundamental difference. A mentor has to be a subject matter expert. What we talk about a sports coach is actually doing mentoring, but we're calling that as coaching. An executive coach need not have any knowledge on subject. He has, it's good. In some cases, it becomes a hindrance for him. Because I come with my past baggage.
Coming in, please.
A coach need not be a subject matter. You know the number one coach in the world, his name is called Marshall Goldsmith. He coaches just about anybody in the industry. Ramcharan is Indian. C.J. Padala was in the past year. They're all coaches. They were coaching people like Ambani, coaching people like Ratan Tata. And Ratan Tata has got, let's say, 100 recruits. You don't expect Ramcharan to be subject matter expert in oil refining. Not good. A coach stays outside and helps the person unlearn what he wants to do. As a mentor, this is subject matter expert. So what you're seeing as a sports coach, actually what you're doing is mentoring. Because they come from the level of experience. What we have said. From my experience, this is where I play. Kapil Dev is a coach, he said, yes, in this particular cricket, in Australia you do it this way. In England you go this way. In the subcontinent you go this way. For example, in Australia the bounce is much higher than the subcontinent. I can't say that because I have no experience. Whereas if you ask Kapil Dev, he will tell you, yes, it will bounce more than what you have in there. It's actually different. Because he comes to level of experience. He shares the experience with people. And he's possibly trying to help him out in developing his skill. In the bowling. That's why you have bowling coach, batting coach, fielding coach. If you have Bharat Arun is a bowling coach, what is he bringing? He brings in his expertise in bowling. He doesn't go to Dhoni and say, this is the way you will pick him. Because he specialized there to get the people's talent or skill up in the bowling phase. Likewise the batsman coach, likewise the fielding coach. John T. was the fielding coach of Mumbai Indians. What was he doing? He focused only on getting these people up in the fielding skill. That's what he was doing. Which means his focus is there. I want you to move this way, I want you to flex this way, I want you to anticipate this way. So he is coaching them on that particular skill. Exactly skill. Are you with me? That's the misconception many people have. Because we call the bowling coach, we call the batting coaches coaches. Actually, the work that they do is benefiting our coaches. And so, mentor has to be a subject matter. Otherwise, he can't really be there and tell you more.
The coach is more of a strategist, I would say.
Just one question. So, where the coach has not SME background, like then you can use the word mentor and coach interchangeably.
I can be a mentor coach.
Yes.
I can change my hats between coach and mentor. For example, I am more of a software guy. But today I am more of a Java guy. If somebody has a query, it is getting stuck. It is getting stuck because of Java programming. I may possibly move into Java programming. If you go by a typical contract, when you get into a coaching contract with people, and when I say my mentor will help this person, I would possibly tell him, no, I'm not acting as a coach, I'm acting as a mentor, let me help you. Because at that time, I'm sharing my personal knowledge or experience and trying to help this person. The objective is for both of them to move this person from point A to point B. So, as a mentor, I am moving from point A to point B by sharing my experience and improving the skill and knowledge level to move there. As a coach, I am trying to help this person to move there by getting him to be. Fundamentally, that's a difference. Mentor gets his thought process, whereas the coach does not go through his thought process. He goes through the thought process of the client. I will go with your thought process. You tell me what you want to do. You tell me how to do it. A coach always comes with the belief that you know the answer. I'm going to get it out. I'm not going to do the answer. You will know the answer. You feel it. But I'll tell you how to think. That's what we're trained on. I will tell you why don't you anticipate this. You will see any problems here. If you are coming from which was part of the city, and coming to Anand Citi Centre, as a coach will ask you, are you clear about where you want to go? What do you think are the challenges you will face? I won't tell you that boys, don't go that immediately because Delta is going to say, don't go. I won't say, do you see bottlenecks anywhere in the roads and roads? Do you see a challenge there? Do you know where it is? How do you find out where Anand Citi Centre is? Is there any device that can help you? But you will come back and tell me whether in Google Maps I can buy something. I'm not going to tell you the things. You will feel it. And you may come out with a lot because I can tell you Google Maps, my experience. But you may be a technology person and you may have an alternative which is much better than Google Maps. Why should I impose on you a lesser alternative when you can come out with a better alternative? You know better. You do it yourself. That's where fundamentally happens. So when you look at uncertainties like what you see here, or this, where you are stuck, you don't know what to do. It's not a skill issue here. So between these three, what is the common thread you see?
Decision making.
Decision point. Situations where you are supposed to take decisions and you are stuck. You are stuck not because of skill, not because of knowledge, but because you don't know how to move forward. Maybe you go back to take a balance in organizations. Just after the promotion cycle, how many of them go down on motivation? Anybody who is not promoted goes down on motivation. That's the fundamental process. Because any amount of mentoring is not enough. You can't not tell, I was here 20 years back, I also had the same problem, my sugar also used to be that doesn't help. And then you feel it is so what? It is responsibility. Today I am stuck. You help me out. So whenever a person is stuck, now these are career options. You would possibly have, if you have children, and moving to higher education, you want to go to the US or Europe. Just stuck. Do I go to US University or Europe University? Do I take medicine? Do I take engineering? Do I do MBA outside India? Do I do MBA inside India? Just stuck there. You don't know how to take this. You know what to say. It's an early generation, you would say, no, your father is in Anna industry, so you have to be in Anna industry. I am not interested in medicine. Because my father is a doctor, you have to be a doctor. So they were taking decisions. Now push it up there, so you take a decision. And today's kids are extremely informed. They figure it out. So what's the advantage? When you move the decision down to a subordinate or a team member, do you see the advantage? They take accountability. They will do better. They will figure out ways by which they can succeed. If you take decisions for them, what is the disadvantage? They are forced to do it, which is possibly yes.
They have to own the consequences.
They will not interest. They will interest. Sorry? They will not be. Yeah. The most common thing that you will find is, I tried, it didn't work, give me another one. So every time they become dependent on you for a decision. And you will be on a vacation in Miami and you will find your phone ringing. What do you do? Find it last week. Because you have not informed this guy and you are in Client presentation. You are making, I'm sorry, I'm talking for IT people, that's really valuable. When you're making a presentation to the client is coming to APR, you want to make an agenda for the client. You start the agenda and so on, like 6 minutes. Next time the client comes to you, he comes to the office and you please be there. As a mentor, you will do that. But as a coach, I will not do that. What is it the client wants to do? What did he showcase last time in the meeting? What are the points that you told him last time? What has happened in our organization, our team, between last time and this time, as there has been an acquisition? What is that you want to highlight to the client this time around? What am I doing as a coach? If you ask this question, what happens?
That's like
Sorry? He will start thinking about what I should do. I'm only pushing you to start thinking his own agenda. You decide what you want to predict. Because you know that you have developed something. You know that you have done something, maybe advanced, in advance. You know that you have come out with a great tool. Showcase that. Because you have been in this place for 6 months now. I'm not going to put it out there. Now, if you miss something there, you've got 5 points, I will have 1 2. That's okay. But I'm not going to play all the 7 points as a coach. That's where the coach will really
say today's reality in the industry, somebody is promoted.
Yeah.
And he is in shoes, and he has to do whatever he has to do. But the relation goes before he has been promoted.
Yeah.
Very rarely, in practical, his level of competence is assessed. And if the guy has reached already his level of competence, and in the next stage he is at the level of incompetence level, he can no way think out of his head how to tackle that situation. Then what to do?
I'll come to this when I talk about venture coaching. So this may not be a coaching situation now. But the other point I want to say here before I move to that is, when you promote a person,
Doing that was already been carried out.
it's already been carried out role which is much higher than what it is because it always comes out for potential. And your pay is in line with the performance.
Does it really happen in the
It does.
It does not happen in all the many ITs, but the non-ITs do not happen.
So there are some places where you go by tenure. Okay? Nobody comes to that. That's the point I want to address when it comes to venture coaching. Because as I said earlier, coaching is not the solution to every situation. There are certain situations where coaching definitely is not. So I take this one to you. So the best way to address people in this kind of situation where there is uncertainty, it requires some decisions where he's totally stuck, is coaching. Look at definition of coaching. This is what it is. This is the ICF standard definition of coaching. Coaching is partnering with individuals and not-knowers in creative process that inspires them to maximize their professional and personal experience. There's some key operating words here, partnering. The coach will be with the coachee right through the engagement. The second one is thought-provoking creative process. The coach is not going to give solutions here. He will only provoke the thought of the coachee and help the coachee to think through. Coach is not going to give solutions here. And his purpose is to maximize their potential, which means the underlying assumption here is the client or the coachee has the potential and try to unearth and maximize the potential. Just take a simple example of a client visit. I know that he can figure out the agenda. That's why I don't want to give the agenda to him. Let him figure it out. So that next time the client comes in, he'll start thinking about what needs to be done. He doesn't have to depend on the supervisor. Because the more and more you start depending on the supervisor, or you start getting people to start depending on you as a supervisor, one, you create clothes of yourself. Because it's your thought process that you are trying to impose on them. It's not their thought process. And two, you are stifling their thought process. They don't think. Which means you're not getting them to grow. So coaching really helps in those kind of situations where you want people to grow, create those questions, create those inquisitiveness for them to really start moving. And that's where coaching really helps. And that will help them to move up in their maximizing their potential. That's what coaching is all about. So,
One question here. This is slightly digressing, but coaching in the form of parenting, when you have the kids or whatever, you have a tendency to do a lot for them. We'll get the food, we'll do this, we'll do that. And at some stage, as they get bigger, you wean off and you try and make them a bit independent and all that. But the emotional tug is, let me rush and do something. Whereas a head should say that, to help them go, let them do that. So is there some study of that how does it help with parenting, or when is a good way to help wean off things and make them independent?
From what I have read on it's called life comes under life coaching. I know the life coach as well as the individual coach. Is when you know that your kid has a certain level of maturity, that's like the agenda part. If I know this guy cannot think about an agenda, he doesn't even know what customer does. I can't ask him to work on an agenda. Likewise, if you have a kid who is less than 10th grade, he or she may not be in a position to think through and formulate their own strategy. So, whatever you try to provoke or try to create thought process in them, they just cannot think beyond the point. At that point, you may still want to be in maybe mentoring mode or parenting mode. But the moment you get to a point where they can say, for example, they want to go for higher education, clearly enough maturity they have at that point. Let them figure out the various interests. You don't have to say, I studied in Harvard, so you studied in Harvard. Let them figure it out. They have their own network today, they can figure it out and find out which is the best university for them, for the discipline that they are seeking. So, the only key word there is, do they have the maturity to be same case in the organization? If you think the person does not have the maturity to start with people, coaching is not the option. Mentoring or training or instructing could be an option. That's why I said when to coach is very, very important, and that I must spend some time in this slide. So that got me very clear that this is the point where I need to post this slide, and this point I will not post this slide. I do. But as a parent, look at the maturity level of it. If the kid is good enough to start thinking and you can ask questions for it, they can find answers, that's the point where you can start coaching. So there is no age for that, you have to figure it out in your child. So one of the fundamental things you do is create awareness in the client. Just create the awareness. Get that person to start thinking. And this is required for the person to achieve the goal. And Winfield talks about these seeds which will help this person move from an awareness level to achievement of the goal. I'll just briefly go through each of those. Connection is there to establish a rapport with the coaching. There has to be a clear rapport between coach and coachee. In normal coaching contracts, we call that as a chemistry call. Coaching chemistry call. Which means I get into a call with the coachee and try to figure out whether he is comfortable talking to me. If the person is not comfortable, what are the reasons, there's no point having an engagement. Because the rapport is extremely important. If the rapport is hit, then the trust levels, which is the bottom line or the real foundation on which your engagement will be. If you don't get that real foundation up and running, then your engagement will be fail. So, rapport is extremely important. And you will definitely know that people always like to be with people who are like themselves. For example, if you go out to the airport and you find somebody talking in, let's say you are in Belfast or you're somewhere in Germany, somewhere in the US. In the airport, security or somewhere, you hear somebody talking in Tamil. Yeah, guys English in Tamil. Because here is somebody with whom I can translate. People always like to connect with people who are like themselves. That's why. Once the lag was built, then the connection happens very smoothly. After that, the entire leg between maybe Germany and the US will be sitting together. Because if you're talking about all the things right from your school days down to why did you fly, what is the place you're going, do you have a family, what is the family, everything is discussed in those 8 hours or 10 hours that we travel from maybe London to New York. Why did that happen that fast? You would not be talking the previous 10 hours from Chennai to London, you would have spoken to the person sitting next to you. When that person happens to be an American or a British, you would have spoken to them because rapport is the second. The moment you see somebody, there could be some connect. Maybe he's watching, he's reading the newspaper and he's seeing cricket. If you are interested in cricket, you're playing cricket, you will be connected. Yeah. So find out those frequency spots, the soft spots that you call, by which you can connect with that particular person. The first call anytime with the coach is try and figure out where is the frequency. Is he operating at 98.3 or 100.4? If you are at 98.3, it means at 100.5, engagement is not. It doesn't work like that. So the coach needs to be caring for the goals of the coaching. He starts holding it up for the sake, in the sense that he doesn't really let them go right to the engagement. He is there with them right to the engagement, caring for this person. This is the most important thing. Curious. Ask a lot of questions by which you can get this person to start thinking. That's the thought-provoking process. And thought-provoking happens by how curious the coach can be when it comes to questioning the client on how you can move forward. The coach is not going to tell you this is the way to move. The coach is going to ask questions by which means I'm going to take a conversation where I'm going to pick up words from what he's saying. For example, the coachee says, I'm frustrated with what things happen in the organization. What makes you be frustrated? That's a curious question. Because I'm trying to find out the root cause of this guy. So why do you think you are not? I think key words from the conversations and positive statement experience. So that curiosity in me, by listening to this person and asking questions, these are the fundamental skills of coaching. How curious are you tells to how successful you can be as a coach and how successful your engagement will be with coaching. A lot of clarity in your topic has to be there. You can't be beating around the bush because the coaching as well is confused. And if you can't confuse him more, he get out of the engagement very soon. So, in your topic, you have to be very clear about your question, about the curiosity, about what you are asking the coach, why are you asking the coach that question. You have clarity in your own thinking. So, your thinking clarity is very important. Next, challenging the coachee. What will be the challenge?
Push him.
Push him. It doesn't say, come on, let me see what I can do. You're talking to that kind of stuff, right? You're talking about pushing this guy. The guy says, I can do 40 lines of code. I can do 50 lines of code. Challenge this guy. Let him feel that he can possibly do 50 lines of code. Let him start pushing his limits. The moment you start pushing, suppose he says, I can't work on the agenda. What makes you think you can't work on the agenda? What's holding you back? What is so difficult about writing an agenda for your planning project? Challenge this guy. You have been in the system for 6 years, you have been in the system for 6 months, you have been in the system for 1 year. You have seen planning process before, you have participated in planning process. What's holding you back from drawing up an agenda for your plan? Challenge this guy. We call that as constructive challenge. Not pushing him for a negative response. You are pushing him so that you want to push him beyond the limits in which he is operating. Because the fundamental basics. All of us are very comfortable in our comfort zone. Pull me out of a comfort zone and start. Suddenly, if Viju comes up and says, Suresh, why did they say 2 words in Telugu and start? So that's not the comfort zone. Maybe in English, maybe in Tamil, that's all it is. The moment you pull me out of it, and suddenly you say, the president is here, why did you talk to the president? I'm not be comfortable because suddenly you're pulling me out and pushing me in a zone which is not comfortable. You'll have challenges. Push this guy into a zone of slight discomfort. But you have to be careful there because if you push him too much into a zone that is not comfortable, what will happen? The guy will switch off. This is too much for me. Your chemistry will fail, your time will start. So you have to understand to what extent can I stretch this guy. Go back to the agenda example. If you can't do the entire agenda, give me the first 2 points that I'll help you. Then you're pushing him slightly out of his comfort zone where he is comfortable getting the agenda from you all the time. You say, I'm not going to get the agenda. Give me the first 2 most important ones from your point of view. I'm slightly pulling him out. Not what to do. Great. What do you do next? Into what else can you cover? He's pushing you further and further and further and further. At the end of it, you realize after half an hour conversation, he would have easily got about 5 or 6 points of agenda, which he wouldn't have thought otherwise. So slowly start pushing him from one point to another point. And that's where you're pushing him further and further and maximizing his potential. That's what a coach will do. Commitment is guaranteed. You have to be committed, otherwise you can't be a coach. And not confidence. You have to excel. What is that? I will excel. If the coach comes and tells you good morning, what is good at that? What happened to the engagement? Because understand that person is stuck. He is coming to you for help. If from your body language, all your words, you are not really showing the confidence, then he is not interested. Be careful and make sure your fuel level is always up, your energy level is always up in any coaching conversation. And if you do all of this, chances are that you get, there is no guarantee that if you do this thing, Winfield can't take you that you will get results. Right? That's the path. Any thoughts? Any questions?
Yes, at one point you feel that another person is much more responding during the engagement.
Yeah.
So at that point, what will be the direction?
See, generally what happens is, I tell you my own experience. get to some achievable level. Otherwise, you will start with coaching, then move into what happened in India, Australia, why is it 4-0 and so on, and start thinking about health. Okay, then your coaching conversation goes all over the place. Be very clear about what you want to do. Which is one of the first questions that I would ask is, what is that you want from this conversational half hour or 1 hour, whatever you time? You have to tell me as a coachee, this is what I want to achieve at the end of half hour. And at the end of half hour, I want you to also come with action items that we will apply and come back to me in the next coaching conversation. If that's, for example, you are a coachee and you come in something, come back the next day, so sorry, I didn't do it. I have deliverables, I have customer visit, I have functions in the family, somebody is not well in the family. Fine, one week is fine. The next week you come in something, you come back and say, sorry, I had customer visit, all the examples are in, record and pay back to me. 2 weeks. After the third, engagement will go. Because I am not interested in wasting my time or your time, sitting down for half an hour, discussing something and not getting anything out of it. Doesn't make any sense. So if you feel that the engagement is not going anywhere, please terminate it. It's not what you wait for.
Suppose we identify that is being too speed. Can we develop new parallelly, but we have to develop new step by step?
Sorry, I didn't get this.
Please suppose we take the same mistake.
Yeah.
If we want to try the relay,
Yeah.
this time we tried our normal plans. So we go to 300%.
Yeah.
But we tried in the mode.
That's right.
That's a very good short term.
Yeah.
So that means basically we are letting it too speed. We don't know how to track it, how to track. That's why we don't know how to go.
Yeah.
Now we tried our best, but we are not trying enough of our best.
Go back to your skill and find out what went wrong in your training skill. You must have some schedule before you went into the program.
That's right. I'm asking whether we have to follow step by step or we have to take some examples.
No, you can go parallel.
Right?
Absolutely.
Anything to be avoided as a coach?
One of the biggest bottlenecks we have is to jump at solutions and give solutions. Because Indians are very good at that. Culturally, we have a problem. For example, if I want to ask you how to go to Anand Theatre, you take a ride in Germany and then ask somebody else. I will never tell you I don't know how to go to Anand Theatre. They always say self-denial. That's a nature, it's a culture. Germans, they're not ashamed of saying I don't know when you interact with Germans. So that's their culture. But very often in a coaching conversation, I've been through it myself. If you look at my first certification conversation that I had with my master coach, how long did it take? Any guesses? Sorry? 10 minutes? Any other guesses? 2 minutes? 1 second. 2 seconds. He asked me something, I gave a solution, he said, thank you very much. You're not able to be a coach. The first conversation I had with master coach. He said, you're not supposed to listen. You're supposed to ask me questions and take me further. I'm your client. I may be an NCC, doesn't matter. But in this conversation, I'm a client. I'm testing your coaching ability. So you have to ask me questions and move me rather than give you solutions and say. He asked me something, I said, why did you do this? I think it was a promotion conversation I had. He said, I thought I was trying to do this. Then said it. He said, thank you. That was the end of the first conversation.
Some of these aspects are more related to an HR operation. How do I
Anything is people
differentiate?
related is HR.
So what is the differentiation between an HR VP and a coach?
HR?
HR business partner to whom we go for any HR interviews. How do I
It's the approach. Coach is, as a coach, you're trained to do something. Like a counselor, you're trained to do something. Where my job is only to question you and move you to a certain level. HR may possibly move, I will move it, I just give you some hypothetical thought and directly wrong. May move you from point A to point B to some experience or experience. You may go into the little more as well. Whereas a coach, as long as university coaches have, he will not move into solution board directly. He will always be testing you. Maybe suggesting you. That's all that you can do.
Does he always have nutrition?
That's it. I see the easiest part of coaches, I don't have to do homework. Do all the talking about questioning. So coach is very easy. But the certification part is very easy.
kind of circle with this topic.
This circle is a template. Look at the every slide will have a circle. You know what it is. The triangle, there is no specific reason. This is a thing that I got. And I got it done from my friends. This guy said, if you put this, it will go. I
think that if you put it upside down, I think it makes more.
Thank you very much for that. Something.
But as a coach, you should tell me about why I shouldn't have.
I'm not get paid. Yeah.
Who is this person?
This is a guy who came out of this. One of the guys who is very good in coaches. There are a lot of people in the US who are master coaches. A lot of people published by
Umapathy.
Yeah. There are two things. You go and coach, you will have hundreds of things.
When the goal is achieved, what does the coach do? The goal is achieved, maybe the coach is become confident, he gets transition to a phase where he can be without the coach.
Yeah.
What does the coach do at that stage to do
Enjoy the paycheck. That's important.
there is no that any guidance or something to do with playing
So what happens then is the goal is achieved. Coaching generally goes to the next level of operation. And maybe change of role, change of responsibility, or change of role. If that goal is getting stuck, then the coach comes in. For example, most of the CEOs of bigger organizations have a coach. And some of these engagements go year after year. Ramcharan, for example, is a coach for many CEOs in India. Amazing books here. Marshall goes with one of the best known coaches in the world. And there are two things that he normally does. I don't know if you read this book, but what got you here won't get you there. Whatever skills you've got now will not take you to the next level. Typical coaching way of doing things. Yeah. So these people have some challenge at any point in time, and that's why the coach comes.
You can always step back into a coaching phase.
What happens then is, the moment you move to another area, there's a comfort zone. You get there. So you start, and moreover, most of us have a day job. I'm still in a day job. I can't think from outside the box. I need somebody to look from outside and start working me, start thinking outside the box. Because it has worked on yesterday, it has worked yesterday, it worked today. I'm always doing the same thing over and over again. But there may be another way by which I can do it better than what I was doing yesterday. But I don't think. Two reasons. One, because fear of failure. And two, because I'm happy with this. It's working. Why talk about it? It's not really good. So why do the coach comes in and says, why can't you look at it from a different way of doing this? If you're going to Anna Saleh, why do you want to take the lead? Why do you want to take poet practice? Is that no other way by which you can reach Anand Citi Centre? Then again, so those goals will change. You may have different challenges coming. That's where the coach will come.
So you need to see the performance delivery tunnel vision. That's not the point. And you just take them out and show a bigger circle.
Coach is more like a person in dark room. Okay? I'll show the light. You have to find the door. I'm not going to show the door. But I'll show the light. These are what do you look at these perspectives? What do you look at light on left, on center? You figure out which door is the right door. I'm not saying please take the first door. First door is the best door. That I will get from a mentor. As a mentor, I know the first door will take information from the director. Second door will take information from the VP. I know that. But I'm not going to do that. Because your expertise will become better. You can stay there moving VP. Because I moved from director to VP. And if you think you are competent enough to move to VP door, please do it. But I'm going to show you the door. And you yourself will show you. That's what it is. This came a couple of days back, the Hindu, I don't know how many of you have read this, he talks about a coach. What does coach bring to the table? The key thing that he's talking about is the coach pushes you a little bit extra.
And gives you that 5%.
Sorry?
Gives gives you that 5%.
Yeah. He also talks a little about mentoring that and cutting off that. Just taking the coaching time. This is what Frederick talks about. Now, what do clients look at from a coach? And Kathy Pecorino is one of the best known coaches in the women's environment. She typically deals with women and coaches them in the higher rates. She's got a very good site in her name itself. In fact, yesterday I was webinar with her. Very graceful in the speech. This is what the coach is expected to do in the coaching context. Release the mental blocks that the people may have. Their mindset, they are living the mindset. Do they have different mindsets? They may be having this belief. It work, I don't know if it will work, I'm scared, so I don't want to move forward. You may have problems there. Sustain the momentum. It means not very good. Okay, there's very good engagement and connecting with Suresh. First session here, extremely excited. As it goes along, we lose interest. The coach will have to, that's pointing back to the conference point that I said earlier. The coach will have to help sustain the momentum right through the conversation. So that's important from the coach standpoint. And the right kind of support. What kind of support can the coach give to move the momentum forward? So this is what the client expects from every coach that he or she works with. And ICF did a big study in 2013, and published in 2015. This is what we're talking about. This is across the world. And I don't have Indian figures, as I said, not much of studies have been done in India. So, some of the areas where they have received lot of movement and this is published reports. 86% ROI is what they are saying. They used the Jack Welch model to look at from level 4 to level 5, and this is what they looked at, I think, 1,000 companies, multiple industries across the world. And this is what they found. Which means in every area of management, there has been some movement from a coaching standpoint. People have to be this is the most important thing. Then coach. Like I said, coach is not the solution for any coaching that you have. If you have many, coaching is not the solution. Please take the course or the course. That's a lot. So don't go to the coach and have immediately. There are cases where you will need training, mentoring, coaching, and higher coaching. Now, when they use training, if you have people in the organization, let us look at it from the three dimensions. I'm looking from competence, capability to perform, and the willingness to perform. Assume that the person does not have the competence at all. When you join in your organization, you can't use mentoring because you can't. Mentoring generally can be a little abstract because you're not telling everything to him, you're not prescribing everything. You're saying, this is what I did, may work, may not work. The person may or may not listen because maturity level is lower. At that point, train this person or teach the person. Going back to your question on parenting, this is where they will be. So you have to decide whether you want to be here or here or here. Depends on the maturity level of the receiver. Receiver can be your team member. Receiver can be your peer, can be your children at home, can be your spouse, anybody. At what level of maturity are they to take instructions and follow them? If they're only at the level where they can take instructions like a new job, stay here. Just training the person or teach the person or giving instructions. Even do it. Till the age the competence level. The moment the competence level is high, but here's problems in performing. Like I said, you go to a US client, you don't know how to talk to a US client. But you have done extremely well working here in India. Where is the problem now? Competence is not the problem. The capability is the issue. At that point, mentor this guy. You don't have to train him anymore. He's already got enough competence. Mentor this guy. Help him understand. This is what I did first time when I went to the US. Typically, for a US client, this is what you will expect. If you are a European client, this is what you will expect. So, typically talk about your experience so that he gains some advantage of talking to the client when he goes to the US or so, if the confidence level is high and he's not able to perform, that's where you get into You have people coming from directly from other organizations to your organization. He's already proved himself in other organizations. He has worked, let's say, in TVS. Now you're putting him from TVS and putting him to Rani. But he's performed in TVS, that's why you hired this guy. But in Rani, it's finding it difficult because he has to get himself tuned into the Rani system of working, the Rani process of working. That's when he would be in. Or when that's your point. When a person has been in one board before, you're moving to a different board. That different board requires certain level of competence and certain level of exposure. He doesn't have that. Mention this. Don't train this guy because he already has competence. If you train the guy, he's losing patience because he already knows it. Why are you telling me something you already know? Tell me something that I don't perform. So if performance or capability is an issue, competence is not the issue, do this. If competence itself is an issue, do this. Train for each this guy. Are we clear on these two? Hook the coach. The guy is confident, the guy is performing. But somewhere he is getting stuck. Why does a person get stuck? Why does the motivation level comes down? He is not able to take decisions. Could be there is a problem. Maybe personally there is a problem. Or maybe he has an issue with the family, he has a personal issue, he has a financial issue, whatever. What is the reason why the performance is going down? What is the willingness part? Willingness is why is the person getting stuck? He is at a decision point. I have my daughter, the daughter is not able to decide which way to go. As a mentor, I say, please go this way. As a trainer, I tell this person, please go to this person get trained. It is a complication. But as a coach, I find out why the person is confused. That's the role of a coach. The person is confused, he's not able to take a decision in which direction to move. I want to aid this person to move and get to that point where he or she can get clarity in thinking. So my job there is to get this person to clarify and think further and take a decision for himself or herself. That's the job as a coach.
Which means you are assuming about the person.
No, I know for sure from the records the guy is competent and is performing. If you are having a team member, you know that he is performing very well. Just after the promotion cycle for 1 month, his production is down. Why is production down? May not be competence issue, may not be performance issue, but something is holding it back. Find out what's holding it back. That's why you coach. Don't go into mentoring mode there. I also, after promotion cycle, I also felt like that, you're putting it down for him. It's like the Indian crack show. One crack goes up, the other crack brings it down. So when you try to bring something where he's expecting mentoring, you go into coaching into fail. When he's supposed to be training, you get into mentoring or coaching mode into fail. Suppose the agenda one, the guy has joined yesterday. Now you decide, I'm going to coach now, I'm not going to do any training. You decide what should be the agenda for the client's research. Right? Does not even go for the client's because he's here. Just because I went to the coaching program yesterday, tomorrow morning, Monday morning, don't like coaching. We'll have attention, very high attention.
As a coach, when they're preparing for the coaching, would they give you some way of understanding the talents of the coaching as you speak to them? Because that will help you uncover the potential.
Yeah. What we generally do is what I do is I always go to assessments. Because I'm certified in risk, WTI, champion, certified officers. I try to see if the organization can invest in an assessment. I know what type of values I can define research. But because of being in this line for quite long, without the assessment, formal assessment, I can tell you what is the person you are. Because I know the loyalty or I know the assessment. When I know that, I know what are the drivers. Because every time I've got some motivating factors, I can pick up those factors and use those factors to coach the person. That is there. Or you can administer some profiling tool. I can figure out what. But if you are working in a contract with an organization, then it's always better to get some background data about this guy in the last 6 months. So you know what is in this pattern. That pattern will help you to ask questions. Because again, remember, you're not going to get solutions. move this person further. The data that you get from there will definitely help the class.
And if you feel a talent is there in this area, you can even recommend the organization change of roles or some better
to do that. So generally what happens in an agreement is it's a tripartite agreement between supervisor, the coach and the coachee. The coach does not talk to the supervisor and talking about the transaction. The transaction is always confidential between coach and coach. If I'm coaching you, whatever you are saying to me stays with me. I can't even record it. If you have to record it, you have to take a position. Even for my own certification process, I have to go to a couple of levels of clearance before I do record. Because as one of the credentials, I need to present 2 recordings of my nomination in the ICF Global Chat. So, you can record it if he or she uses it. But the transaction is very important. So, from here, you can move here. This is high-end coaching. The person is always there. For example, if you look at somebody like Saina Nehwal, you can put her here. She is a world teacher. But somewhere in the last leg, maybe in the last match she is serving, one particular opponent she is serving. That's why she is moving between 1 and 2. If you look at what Prakash Parupini has said about Saina is, she doesn't need any skill inputs. She's right on top. It's only this mental toughness that is holding her back, which is essentially patience. Just look at Saina and find out what is holding you back. Because you have defeated self. You've done it in India, you've done it in various tournaments. Why is that you're not able to defeat you? What's holding you back? That's where you need coaching. Saina Mirza is here. She's there. You don't have to do anything, just tell her what she has to do. For example, if you watch a YouTube video which is called Sachin Tendulkar's interview. In Australia, I don't know if you follow it, in Australia, he was struggling with getting out, typically take one particular shot on the offside, and he was getting it into the slips of the keeper. Then, Gary Custon, I think, was the coach at that point in time. Gary Custon didn't go and tell Sachin, play this way. That would be an issue. You can't go and tell something like Sachin, this is the place. He just gave tapes of matches, the last 2 matches, and Sachin figured out what went wrong with Sachin said. He will figure it out himself. And after that, after seeing the video of the last 2 innings where he played, he stopped playing that particular shot right through the rest of the series. He got 2 centuries back to back. So, you may find people in your organization at this level. So, if you have a team, you have people, some of them at this level, some of them here and here. So, don't try training the person, don't try training standing. He will fail. So, likewise, in your team, who are those people who require training? Who are those people who require mentoring, coaching, high-end training? If this is the person straight away who will go to the leadership pipeline. Don't have to learn it. Just grooming for the next role. High-end coaching is coaching for the next higher role. Maybe your role or much higher than you are. That's what you need to be coaching for. So identify your team and decide when to use mentoring, when to use coaching, when to use training. Answer your question.
Yes, it answers, but then you use your word do this time. What is the difference between doing and mentoring or coaching?
Grooming is getting this person ready to play the next high level to go with. You are getting this person ready. It is coaching the methodology and grooming is the outcome of that methodology. I use coaching to groom this fellow, which is making this guy goal ready.
So, doing is also the outcome of mentoring and training.
Grooming is a generation.
The generic goal.
Organization visit that the manager generally nominates or identifies a person who is coaching or not as coaching, identify who is coaching.
Okay. Now what happens is, I can tell you my own organization is, they generally find out. I walked into this. When they call me for a coaching conversation. I sit with the supervisor and ask him to tell me, you are potentially wanting me to coach this person. Where do you find this person? if I'm able to figure out that the person has competence, the capability is lacking, I say don't use coaching. You have your own team member who is listening or you yourself can do the retreat. So somebody has to guide the supervisor walking through these quadrants and help the supervisor understand what we use to do. So if you are a supervisor, just work with this. All that you need is find out where the person is and accordingly decide which particular intervention he will use.
Where does counseling sit in this world?
Counseling is all this. Because counseling is specialized. There is only specific cases to do. In normal cases, we don't do counseling. Only if there's an issue which is therapeutic in nature, that's where you do counseling. On day-to-day basis, you don't do counseling in the organization. If there's a particular issue which is leading to some emotional lack, generally you will find tendencies which are greater. A person wants to commit suicide, a person doesn't want to talk to anybody, he gets irritated with everybody. For whatever reason, I don't like this color of t-shirt, I get irritated. Yeah? If you see a pattern, one day you get irritated because he has got his wife in love, that's not the reason. But then, if you're seeing a pattern of this guy getting irritated, something is wrong with the pattern. That's where a trained counselor can.
So, coaching is the most misconceived terminology to this time?
You go by literature, yes. That's where what we have done is we have formulated coaching chapters across India. And I am one of the founder directors of ICU Chennai coaching chapter. So what we do is we go to organizations, help people to understand what coaching is. Because very often they think coaching is mental. So we go talk to HR people and just give a 1 hour lecture, something like what I'm doing today. And so that they're very clear about what is coaching, when to use coaching. If there's any organization here who wants me to come out, talk to HR folks, please do let me know. I can definitely come and talk to HR people so that they are clear about when to use what. I'm not advocating myself, I'm just talking it as an issue and one of the agenda points in ICH where is to get people clarity on coaching. That's one of the things that we have in point agenda in the ICH chapter. That really wanting to come and help you people out. There is any requirement, please do let you know. I would love to come and talk to you about.
What is the best way to reach out to ICH?
Talking. I'm not the normal person. Always that's talking and doing. We meet almost every second, once a month, definitely yes. We meet on 26 also.
Which place?
Anywhere. Yeah, the basic queue is only 560. We meet once in a month. We meet on 26 also. So I think I can take up and talk to them.
If you want to become a coach, what are the first steps to move in this journey?
And if finish up presentation,
yeah, you request for time. I would request them
This
to
finish
come,
up,
please.
yes.
And if you have any questions, please send me around. We can answer it.
I'll take your questions, please. I'll answer all the questions before leaving. Some of the challenges you face, the moment you go, one of the biggest challenges you have to do is, I'm an achiever. I'm a director in the organization. I've achieved so much. Why do I need this coaching? That's one of the questions you genuinely have. Like this person. When somebody went to him or his advisor told him, Eric, why don't you take a coach? His response was this. How can a coach advise me? I'm already a CEO of Google. Then his advisor's response was this. He's not going to play your games, but he's going to watch you from outside and tell you, ask you questions about which you can move further from where you are. Does not mean that you reach the peak and you can't go any further. You will still move further. Now, get out of mindset. The mindset is, I'm the CEO, I don't need you through. That's your mindset. Get out of that mindset. So, one of the challenges you generally have with people, I also have that in the organization. I'm a performing manager. Why do you want to coach me? That's what it is. So, there's one small tool that we use called MyLife3. And typically, the job is me. And you can ask the person to plot out various facets of life. And very easy this. A perfectly balanced life will be right, a full circle or income. Perfectly balanced life. Very often we find it checker. In finance and health it will be lower, business will be up, self-image will be lower up. Somewhere the circle will not get conceptual. example, if all of this is said and I am one here, I need a finance coach. I know the right person for that. Which means I can tell you a person, every other facet of your life you're successful, but you're not successful in finance. There are also cases where I found this to be very good. Guy is extremely successful, but the family is not the time to family at all. Long-term balance is zero. Because every day he's out, he works 14 hours a day, 16 hours a day, and he travels 10 days in a month. His family life is zero. If you go and ask his people, his family members, they will probably be 1 or 2, which means one point will be successful. If your family dimension is good. So ask the person to plot this and figure out where are the development units. I'm sure very often most of us are there in 1 or 2 schools in stress. That can be the start point for coaching. Likewise, if you take this model, apply it to work. A person, when he says, I'm already a successful project manager, look at the various dimensions of his role and find out, is he a performing manager in all the dimensions? If you have 1 or 2 dimensions, the guy is not performing. That's the point where the coach is there, or mentor is there. Because all of us will not have a perfect circle in our goal. If you are having a perfect circle, then you are finished that goal, you have to move the next circle. Because you already performed in that role. So this is one point where you can think about starting a coaching conversation. How to choose a coach? Some thoughts here. Find out if a person is an accredited coach. ICF is one of the things. You have Coaching Foundation of India, you have BHCC, there are many bodies. If a coach is from an accredited body, then the person has gone through some certification process. So which means that he is an expert in that particular space. And all of us got a lot of training hours. So if you have lots of questions to find out how many of coaching training hours you've got, that can really reduce this one. That's important for you. This is the least call that I talk about. Don't go into a coaching conversation straight away. Talk to the coach and understand, is he at ground frequency? Only then the engagement will go through. Commitment, flexibility, all these are important when it comes to coaching. So these are things that we know the direct mind and engagement. Closing, I'm going to close with Winston Churchill. What he said was, courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. And as a coach, you have to sit down and listen. You don't have to stand up and speak. Because the more you listen, the more questions you get. The more questions you get, the better it is for the coaching. It's important. And as a coachee, you have to define your own destiny. Because our destiny is in our hands. Nobody can draw it for you. People can guide you. People cannot draw it for you. You have to decide which way to go. And you have to accomplish it. And this is where a coach can come and help you. He or she can help you accomplish the dream and desires. All the rest of you, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Suresh, for a wonderful and informative session. Sorry, in the interest of time, I will not be able to have a formal Q&A, but certainly around to answer your questions once the session is over. But before moving ahead, I believe this session was really interactive, and the way the questions were asked and the way he patiently answered the question, do you think he deserves a much bigger applause? From the chapter board, I would request our president, Mr. Ramasubramanian, to hand over